it'll win. And it works every time it's tried. That's why the left tries to rewrite history. Because their policies, like Barack's, never worked. Never have, never will. Anywhere on this planet. Conservative principles. The people are the core of any nation. The people make the nation great, not the government. Hey, the giant middle class that the world has seen over the past 100 years has been because of the United States. Plain and simple. Understand it. I don't care if you're a liberal socialist and you hate that idea. Too bad. That is the truth. Live with it.
My name is Ronald Reagan. I have been asked to talk on several subjects that have to do with the problems of the day. Now, back in 1927, an American socialist, Norman Thomas, 6 times candidate for president on the Socialist Party ticket, said the American people would never vote for socialism. But he said under the name of liberalism, the American people will adopt every fragment of the socialist program. There are many ways in which our government has invaded the precincts of private citizens, the method of earning a living. One of the traditional methods of imposing statism or socialism on a people has been by way of medicine. It's very easy to disguise a medical program as a humanitarian project. Most people are a little reluctant to oppose anything that suggests medical care for people who possibly can't afford it. James Madison, in 1788, speaking to the Virginia Convention, said, "Since the general civilization of mankind, I believe there are more instances of the abridgment of the freedom of the people by gradual and silent encroachment of those in power than by violent and sudden usurpations." Now, in our country, under our free enterprise system, we have seen medicine reach the greatest heights that it has in any country in the world. Today, the relationship between patient and doctor in this country is something to be envied any place. The privacy, the care that is given to a person, the right to choose a doctor, the right to go from one doctor to the other. But let's also look from the other side at the freedom the doctor loses. A doctor would be reluctant to say this. Well, like you, I'm only a patient, so I can say it in his behalf. The doctor begins to lose freedoms. It's like telling a lie, and one leads to another. First, you decide that the doctor can have so many patients. They're equally divided among the various doctors by the government. But then the doctors aren't equally divided geographically. So a doctor decides he wants to practice in one town, and the government has to say to him, you can't live in that town. They already have enough doctors. You have to go someplace else. And from here, it's only a short step to dictating where he will go. This is a freedom that I wonder whether any of us have the right to take from any human being. Take it into your own occupation or that of your husband. All of us can see what happens once you establish the precedent that the government can determine a man's working place and his working methods, determine his employment. From here, it's a short step to all the rest of socialism, to determining his pay. And pretty soon, your son won't decide when he's in school where he will go or what he will do for a living. He will wait for the government to tell him where he will go to work and what he will do. In this country of ours took place the greatest revolution that has ever taken place in the world's history, the only true revolution. Every other revolution simply exchanged one set of rulers for another. But here, for the first time in all the thousands of years of man's relation to man, a little group of men, the Founding Fathers, for the first time, established the idea that you and I had within ourselves the God-given right and ability to determine our own destiny. This freedom was built into our government with safeguards. We talk democracy today, and strangely we let democracy begin to assume the aspect of majority rule is all that is needed. Well, majority rule is a fine aspect of democracy, provided there are guarantees written in to our government concerning the rights of the individual and of the minorities. What can we do about this? Well, you and I can do a great deal. We can write to our congressmen, to our senators. We can say right now that we want no further encroachment on these individual liberties and freedoms. And at the moment, the key issue is we do not want socialized medicine. If you don't, this program, I promise you, will pass just as surely as the sun will come up tomorrow. And behind it will come other federal programs that will invade every area of freedom as we have known it in this country. Until, one day, as Norman Thomas said, we will awake to find that we have socialism. And if you don't do this, and if I don't do it, one of these days, you and I are going to spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
Yes, indeedy. It is me live here from my bunkerized home studio. It is your lovable host, Elrod, coming to you live. Now, the polls are saying that it's Romney up. Well, look, anytime a lamestream media poll tells you that a conservative is tied with a liberal, it means that the conservative is winning. Plain and simple. Look, I dare anybody to show me the proof otherwise. Now, Romney is up. Now, understand this. Obama has never been over 50% in any poll. Well, there are a few, fringe polls. Any so-called, quote-unquote, reputable poll, Obama has not eclipsed 50%. Since January of this year, since we knew basically who our nominee was going to be for the Republican Party, didn't go, but hasn't been any. Well, frankly, I don't remember any poll, depending on who the Republican candidate might have been. Obama wasn't above 50%. Now I know that they had there were quite a few polls showing different Republican candidates of the time during the primary process that Obama was spanking any candidate that was going to we were supposed to put up against him. Like it was supposed to be hopeless. Now you could put up Romney. Now Obama kills him. You could put up Gingrich. Oh, Obama obliterates him. You could put up Ron Paul. Oh, Obama just totally blows him off the map. And, this is what we were getting. We were told by the lamestream media that this was not going to be a close contest, no matter who the Republicans put up. In fact, they were so positive that Romney was going to be such an easy target. Because literally, they miscalculated. They did not want Obama to have to debate the likes of Newt Gingrich or even Ron Paul. They didn't want, because they were convinced that those two people would have cleaned Obama's clock. So they were convinced. Oh yeah, Romney, man, he's got Romney care. And when he was governor of Massachusetts, he's pretty moderate. Had some close ties with the Democratic Socialist Party in Massachusetts. Oh yeah, it's kind of we put Romney up against Obama, and all we have to do is say, what do you people really want? Do you want the real Obama, the real black Obama, or the fake wannabe white Obama? That's what the lamestream media was trying to portray this was going to be about. It was going to be Obama for sure or Obama white light. And if you went for Obama white light, well, obviously that means that you were a racist. They weren't expecting Mitt to actually come out and be conservative or even say anything conservative. Oh, they probably believed, Mitt's going to say he's going to repeal Obamacare, but hey, this is a guy that had Romney care. So it really doesn't matter. If he takes out Obamacare and puts in Romney care, we still win, right? Until Romney started saying things like, well, that's a decision for the states. I would uphold the Constitution. And then the lamestream media started saying, hey, wait a minute. And all of a sudden we get this, that's that. We don't know this Mitt. This is a different Mitt Romney. I mean, yeah, Obama didn't debate the real Mitt Romney. This was this fake Mitt Romney. Well, evidently, this is the real Mitt Romney. And he explains his positions pretty clearly. Well, yeah, state can do that if it wants. Federal government has no business doing it. I have always said that. If you want to have mandatory health care for all your citizens, that's something to be done at the state level. Now, I think it's wrong even at the state level, but the state has the power to do that. The federal government doesn't have the constitutional power to do that. I don't care what Judge Roberts said in the Supreme Court. They were wrong, and I can show them precedent. He went against precedents, plain and simple. I mean, this is the point where somebody who knows the Constitution and what the Founding Fathers stood for and what the original Supreme Court stated on a number of cases, Roberts would know that he was wrong. This is not a living Constitution that we have. It's very static, and it was meant to be static. That's why they made it so difficult to change it. But they still, Founding Fathers, still made it possible for you to change it. But it wasn't meant to be able to be changed on a whim. Because it wasn't a living document. It was a static document. And even if it was a living document, because, we Christians, Judeo-Christians, hey, that's the living word of God in the Bible. That's a living document, I guess you could say. But it doesn't change. At least it's not supposed to. God's word doesn't change. So neither does the Constitution unless we specifically demand that it be changed. And there are specific procedures that one has to go through in order to change it. It's called adding an amendment. And even Democrats used to do it. That's how they got, along with Republicans, they got prohibition. And then repealed it. They didn't try to today, they wouldn't even have gone the prohibition, amendment route. They would have just made a law and dared the Supreme Court to overturn it. This is what they did with Obamacare. Well, we dare you to overturn it. You overturn it, man, and you're in trouble. Now, I don't know. I have no proof, but I firmly believe that Chief Justice Roberts was influenced from outside in a negative manner. I think he was threatened. I don't have proof of it, but that is what I believe. And it's not a conspiracy theory, but it's really kind of interesting how he ruled and what he said in his ruling. So tonight you're probably going to hear a lot in terms of, we know that Romney's on top in the polls, and that's because he's being conservative and espousing conservative principles. And that's going to carry over into the foreign debate. And what you're going to hear is, what you should hear, is Romney pounding on all of Obama's Obama doesn't have, Obama has really one win on a foreign policy note. Just one. And even that's not really his, but he's the one that supposedly finally made the call. He got Osama bin Laden. But this whole notion that, I ended the wars. No. Bush already put the end of these wars on a certain path, on a certain track. That includes Iraq and Afghanistan. Now, they were going to end sometime during this term. If they follow. So saying, hey, Bush said we were going to pull out of Iraq in 2014. I did it in 2012. So, 2 years early. I ended the wars. No, you didn't end the war. It was already we were drawing down troops, and there were plans for that before you took office, Mr. Obama. I guess you could say that he's winding down Afghanistan since he was the one that had a surge in Afghanistan. This from the guy. This is something else Romney should be hitting him on. This from a guy who says, that, as part of the mantra that the surge isn't going to work, the surge is a failure, and then he does his own surge. You got